Hello everyone, Mariko Berg, Realtor with Bridgeville Real Estate Group here in Coquitlam, British Columbia, Canada. It is Thursday, March 19th, and the reason why I want to highlight the date today is because things are changing with the coronavirus day by day. Literally, I did a video on Tuesday, and things have changed quite drastically with regards to how realtors are dealing with open houses and showings and things like that. Really going full lockdown mode. So I did just want to give you guys an update on that. And then I also just wanted to let you know some information about upcoming completions, existing deals that have already gone firm, and just some of the dialogue that I've had with mortgage brokers, lawyers, and notaries over the past couple days. So, with regards to the real estate industry as a whole, like as I was saying, that, pre Tuesday, we're still dealing with insane open houses, so many people coming through, multiple offers on the Monday. And now Thursday has come along, and the dialogue between realtors has completely changed. So everybody is saying, no open houses, limiting showings, we're going full lockdown. The real estate board and the real estate council have sent out emails saying that, try to limit things as much as you can. If you don't need to have an open house, you don't need to list right now, don't list right now. I'm on the BC Realtors Forum on the Facebook group, and they had a question that was put out there is like how, something along the lines of like how likely are you to host an open house, or what do you guys think about open houses and things like that. And 99% of them are like, absolutely don't do an open house, that's wrong. And then there's very, very few people that are saying, yeah, go for it. And obviously those people got bashed on, unfortunately, but maybe fortunately too, just depending on how you see it. So all of a sudden the industry has really just change their mentality, and I'm definitely starting to see a lot more open house cancellations. I myself had a listing that delayed. People just don't feel comfortable having large groups of people in their home touching all their stuff. And yes, we're trying everything that we can for the existing open houses, even beforehand, to wipe surfaces down, have sign-in sheets so that you can keep track of people and all of these things. But at the end of the day, we all have to do our part, and the most extreme thing to do is just go on lockdown, stay inside, not host open houses if it's not important or not absolutely necessary. And I think what I'm seeing is that in most cases, people are saying, it's not absolutely necessary. So that's kind of some of the changes that I've been seeing myself. But, with regards to completions and things like that, a lot of people have existing properties that they've already purchased, that they've gone firm on, handed in the deposit, and they're waiting for their completion. So, for example, for myself, I have 4 completions that are coming up all within the next 3 weeks. And, those clients are now asking, what are the procedures? What are we doing differently? And with the big 6 banks in Canada announcing that they are reducing the amount of branches that are open, limiting their hours, how do we get, or how do we make sure that we have the funds to close, for example? So bank drafts are usually the way that people bring their remaining funds to close. It's also the way that they bring their deposits. So what happens if the big 6 banks close? And that's a question that I've been asking lawyers and notaries, and they're basically saying that we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We don't know what to do. This is unprecedented, but at this point in time, just stay aware of which banks are open, what bank you're going to go to get your remaining funds to close. And then, kind of what I could see happening, because this has already started happening within the brokerage, is that rather than getting a bank draft, they're switching over to wire transfers instead. But one thing that I wasn't able to verify, but what I remember previously, is that bank drafts usually cost around $8.50, $8.50, and wire transfers are anywhere between $50 to $100. So that can be a pretty big difference, especially for, a first-time home buyer, somebody that's scraping by just to get into the market. So just being aware that, get a bank draft as soon as possible if you can. One of the things that you can ask is if your lawyer and notary can get, an accurate statement of adjustments ahead of time, so that you know exactly what your remaining funds are to close, and you can get that sooner rather than later. If your completion is maybe a week or 2 or 3 out, just touching base with your lawyer and notary and just seeing what information they can provide to you, and just seeing if you can get that final number as soon as possible while some of the banks are still open. I think that's definitely a good idea. Another question that's been coming up regarding lawyers and notaries that I've talked to is remote signing possible? And the answer is no. It's not that lawyers and notaries are not trying to, minimize the spread, flatten the curve, and all these things. It's just that they have rules and regulations that are imposed upon them by the Law Society, where certain documents do need to actually be pen and paper. They need to verify client's identity in person. And there's just some things that can't be done online. So what they are trying to do is send out a review of the statement of adjustments and closing documents in advance, just so that clients can read through it on their own time in the safety of their own home, and really limit the amount of time that's face-to-face with your lawyer or your notary. If you've reviewed everything in advance, then you can ask questions over email or by phone, things like that, and then maybe you'll be able to shorten your meeting time from a standard 45 minutes to an hour down to hopefully less than 15 minutes, and just do what needs to be done in terms of signing paper and providing proper identification like a driver's license or a passport, SIN, all of those things. I know that a lot of lawyers and notaries are limiting the amount of staff that are in office, and obviously anytime that a meeting is actually held, they're cleaning everything down and just upping their cleaning procedures and things like that. But definitely, if you can, and I do recommend that you do, reach out to your lawyer or notary. Just ask any questions that you have to ask. Try and get your final amount to close as soon as possible. Get that bank draft as soon as possible. And again, if the big banks do close entirely and go full lockdown, I'll have an update for you guys, because I'm sure I'll be getting an update from the lawyers and notaries that I work with quite frequently. And then with regards to things like subject removal as well, that was another thing that I have written down here, is a lot of our brokerages are recommending that if you have a property that is live right now, or a deal that's live right now in subject removal, or you're thinking about writing an offer on a property, just make sure that you add a subject in there saying that the buyer has the right to obtaining legal advice from a lawyer, professional, etc., with regards to COVID-19, because this is affecting a lot of people's deals. Like I was saying, in my last video, is just some of the issues that we're seeing with subject removal and financing collapse. So people losing their jobs and not being able to obtain financing. Obviously, the risk of what happens if you lose your job in between the time that you get the deposit and you are supposed to complete on this property. We've had just one case that I heard of recently where they had an accepted offer and they weren't able to actually remove subjects because I think it was the lawyer that they were using ended up getting COVID-19, and they were the ones that were in charge of their trust account or something like that, and they couldn't get access to their trust fund money. I've heard clients that lost a bunch of money in the stock market, and that's where their deposit funds were coming from, and not wanting to withdraw that money anymore, so they collapsed the deal. So there's a lot of different situations that are going on, and it's not like the end of the world, like every deal is collapsing or anything like that. So I wouldn't freak out about that to that extreme. Deals are still going through, things are still moving, but obviously there are situations where people's finances are severely affected and they're not able to remove their subject to financing. So yeah, just making sure that you do what you can in terms of preparation and staying safe and all of these things. But that's just some of the thoughts that have been going around in my head, some of the questions that I've been receiving from clients, and just some of the dialogue that I've been having with different lawyers and notaries and mortgage brokers about what's going on, what they're seeing in the market, what their plans are, how they're dealing with things. But completions are still going through. So if you do have an existing property that you have an accepted offer on or a firm deal on, things are still moving. So I will definitely try and keep you guys as updated as possible with all of this coronavirus things. I'm sure you'll be hearing some kind of series related stuff from me, because literally there is an update every single day. But I'm going to be trying to provide some different content as well that's not coronavirus related, and just keep you guys updated with other things, because maybe not everybody wants to hear about this all the time. It needs a breath of fresh air. But happy first day of spring. I hope this video was helpful. If you guys have any questions, I'm always here to talk to you and give you any insight into what's going on in the real estate market. So feel free to reach out to me anytime, and stay safe, everyone. Make sure that you're practicing social distancing, and I will definitely talk to you soon.